Hello everyone, I am Muhammed Mushtaq from third year ECE department and I am here to discuss about the topic NAT and PAT in networking. Well, before getting into the topic, I am making sure you all guys are safe and doing well. Well, let's get into the topic. What is NAT? NAT is the network address translation. It's nothing but the process of modifying IP address information in IP packet header while in transit across the traffic routing device. Yeah, we are talking about the traffic routing device. It's nothing but the NAT router. You can see the picture, that's the right side top. Yeah, this one, NAT router with the arrow mark of outgoing incoming on left side and outgoing incoming on right side. The left side of outgoing and incoming is nothing but with the host, this client, and the right side is nothing but the server. The left side is the full of private network and the right side is full of public network. Topic is what is PAT. PAT is nothing but the port address translation. It is the variant of NAT. It has an extension of network address translation that permits multiple devices on LAN to be mapped to a single public IP address to conserve IP address. Yes, it is also called as porting, port overloading, port level multiplexed, and single address NAT. Yeah, PAT is the another form of NAT which has to attach the port number with the IP pack header, whereas NAT just translate the IP address. Yes guys, why NAT and PAT? To explain this question, I can say a simple example that I hope you guys are using internet to see my video. Well, that's the great example of why NAT and PAT. Because without NAT and PAT, you cannot see my video, not only mine. You cannot search into the internet. You cannot get internet access without NAT and PAT. If not exist in the world. Well, I say like that, without network address translation or port address translation, you probably wouldn't be able to access the internet from your computer. Yes. In this case, I want to give you an explanation of why and how we use NAT and PAT for internet access. Yes guys, come on. The idea of NAT is allow multiple devices to access the internet through a single public address. Yeah, we guys are in a private network with multiple IP address. If each guy have one address to access directly to the IP internet service provider, the whole country will go out of the IP address because the overall IP address existing in IPv4 is 429 crores, but it's not even accessible for India. India like more populated countries. So there we go for NAT. NAT conserves legally reserved IP address, and it provides privacy as the device IP address sending and receives the traffic will be hidden. Yeah, as I said, it will be overlapped with the public IP address which is the given in NAT transition table in the NAT routers. Let's go further. Working of NAT. Well, you can see the picture on the right side. There is a topology from the host to the server in between a NAT router with the private network with host and the ISP internet with server. Yeah, as soon as a signal given from the host to the server, there you can see the IP address header packet 10.0.0.1 with the destination IP address 200.100.10.1. As soon the packet reaches the NAT router, the NAT router will do operation in the basis of our NAT configuration. It changes the source IP address from the 10.0.0.1 and put the IP address which is on the NAT transition table, which we have configured in the command. The IP address is 150.150.0.1. And it delivers to the same destination IP address which we want to do, and it reaches the server. With the server don't know this packet is coming from us, the client, because this is what I mean here. It provides privacy as the device IP address sending and receiving the traffic will be hidden. Yes guys, the server don't know about the host, right. The router is the intermediate guy which does many wonderful works, and the below header packet shows that the packet coming from the server to the NAT router with the IP address of the 150.150.0.1 which we have assigned in the NAT transition table. As soon the packet hits the router in the interface, that's the NAT outside interface which we have configured here, it will transfer to the NAT inside interface with the translation of IP address 10.0.0.1 rather than 150.150.0.1. That is the working of NAT, guys. Let's discuss about the types of NAT and PAT. Static NAT. What is the static NAT? It is a single unregistered private IP address is mapped with the legally registered public IP address. Yes, guys. As you know, this is not used in the organization. This is generally used for web hosting. Yes, right. You can see the topology here. There's a specific client over here, and there's a specific server over here. If you want to reach the server from this IP address for often, you want to do regularly, you can buy a public IP address specifically for that server, and you can assign a static NAT configuration like in this header packet. You can see this is the 10.0.0.100 will never change unless you retain that. Whenever you send a packet from this client to the 10.0.0.100, this packet will will hit the Cisco sign router and automatically derives to the server web, because it is in the NAT translation table as the 10.0.0.100 is belong to the web server. Yes, guys. Next is the dynamic source NAT. It is similar to the static NAT, but the mapping of inside local address to the inside global address happens dynamically. That means that changes dynamically depending on our time period. Yes, dynamic translation have a timeout period after which they are purged from the translation table. Yes, right. The dynamic entry stays in the table as long as the traffic flows occasionally. With dynamic NAT, translation do not exist in the NAT table until the router receives traffic that requires translation. Yes, right. The dynamic NAT translation table will form whenever the traffic flows occasionally. Unless the dynamic entry stays in the table as long as the traffic flows. Right, guys. The dynamic NAT sets up a pool of possible inside global address, can define matching criteria to determine which inside local IP address should be translated with NAT. Yeah, it has some range of IP address which it can change inside that pool. What's next? Example for the dynamic NAT. In here's the 172.16.0.0/28 network. This is called pool of IP address. Here's many IP address consisting in this network, and the translation table with that network is that 10.16.0.0. You can see the same static NAT, but the IP source and IP source here you can see that's configured with the range. This is nothing but the network. It changes dynamically. Like here, it changes dynamically. Address should be translated with the NAT. Fine. What's next? Next is the static PAT. Static PAT translation allows a specific UDP or TCP port on a global address to be translated to a specific port on a local address. Yes, guys. Static PAT is kind of same with the static NAT, unless it has one more header packet of port number with the IP address. Yes, static PAT is the same as static NAT, as I said, except that it enables you to specify the protocol. Yeah, the port number which I said to attach in the IP address is nothing but to specify the protocol TCP or UDP, and more deeply HTTP, HTTPS, like that. Okay, fine. With static PAT, translation exists in a NAT translation table. Yeah, the NAT translation table also shows the PAT translation, which is the variant of NAT, right? Okay. Coming to the example of PAT, as I said, here you can see a topology. The two types of services defined here. One is a web server, which has HTTP of 80, and which is the SSH server, which has a TCP port, and the SSH is port number is 22. You can see the two different services in the private network need to reach same client 56.56.56.56. What we need to do is nothing. We can get a public IP address from the internet service provider with the same 88.88.88.80. But you can think, how can you reach the two different servers with the same IP address? There came a work of the PAT, port address translation. You can the header packet has a TCP 80. Once this packet hits this router, it will translate through this interface to the board server by seeing the header packet TCP/80. This server SSH will drop the packet because it is none under his consent, and he will take and do the remaining process. The same as here, TCP 666, it is a common port number for which will translate to TCP 22. That is the SSH server. It will drop and it will do the further steps. Quick summary: NAT and PAT. First, we define NAT. What is NAT? NAT translates the private local IP address to the public local IP address, as I said. Otherwise, we will run out countries like India, more populated countries, will run out of the IPv4 address. We already inside the IPv6 address, but still some people are using IPv4 address because of this great concept NAT. Yeah. Superset of PAT. NAT is called a superset of PAT. Yeah, because without NAT there is no existing of PAT, right? That's why it is defined like superset of PAT. And NAT, it uses IPv4 address in header. Yes, right, we defined there. And the types are static NAT and dynamic NAT. Coming to the PAT, similar to NAT, it also translates the private IP address of an internal network to the public IP address with the help of port numbers. Yes. As I defined before, PAT is similar to NAT, but it has one more header pack after IP address, is that the port number, which defines the type of packet it consists. And the PAT is the variant of NAT. Yeah, that's nice. And it uses IPv4 address along with the port number in the header. And the types of static PAT, overloaded PAT. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for being here today. I hope I have added some meaning to your time. The concept NAT and PAT I have found very interesting, so I delivered here. If you got any suggestion on my presentation, feel free to comment below. Thank you.